Well, Downing Street has just confirmed that the Prime Minister will speak on the phone to the President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, this afternoon. So I suppose that's the start of negotiations. Whether they get there anywhere or not is a matter for debate at the moment. But are we really any clearer this morning what direction the country is heading in? Well, here with me in Westminster is Jill Rutter, who is the Brexit Programme Director at the Institute of Government. Welcome to you. There were all sorts of ploys yesterday tried out and voted down for changing the process of Britain leaving the European Union. But now that those have been defeated, what really is the timetable ahead of us now?
So now we've got a couple of weeks where the Prime Minister is going to see if she can manage to negotiate the alternative arrangements that manage to unify much of the Conservative Party behind her when the Brady Amendment, one of the two amendments that passed yesterday, got through. So, as you said, she's going to kick that off with a call to Donald Tusk. We may see UK negotiators going out to Brussels, try and work out what they can do, maybe change that negotiating team. That seems to be on the cards. Then we'll see whether she goes. I think that's going to be the next thing. Is it sort of something where she sends Steve Barclay, she goes over? But then we've got another critical date in the Commons, a statement on the 13th and a potential vote again on the 14th. And
why has she got to do that?
Well, what appears to have happened was that there were quite a lot of talks in the run-up to yesterday's vote, that some ministers were very minded to vote for this Yvette Cooper amendment, which would have given Parliament control of the timetable and would have meant we'd be all focusing on what was going to happen on the 5th of February. And the reason they were bought off and told you can hold your resignation, if you like, for now, was they said there will be another opportunity. This isn't your last chance to give Parliament a chance to take control of the Brexit process, and that's where this date that there would be another opportunity for Parliament, and that's now been scheduled for a couple of weeks' time.
Now, what about though that other vote in the Commons yesterday, a majority against no deal?
What was quite interesting, I think, there was Parliament had some strong no-deal options. So it had the options Dominic Grieve, Yvette Cooper's amendments, which would have given Parliament control of the process much more. Parliament rejected those two options and went for, if you like, the sort of much weaker formulation, which was just to say Parliament rejected no deal, but not anything that would give it control of the process or have any potential for legally binding force. So I think Jack Dromey, one of the co-authors, has been saying this is morally binding. It gives a political signal, both to the Prime Minister, but also to the European Research Group, that possibly there is a majority forming there against no deal, which might be not totally unuseful to the Prime Minister, but it doesn't have any immediate impact beyond that.
If that meaningful vote is an approval of whatever Mrs May is proposing on the 14th of February, then that's it. We're going to leave with a transition period at the end of March. Is that right?
No, not quite. That enables her to bring forward a piece of legislation called the Withdrawal Agreement Bill. So that's the legislation she needs to put that treaty, so she'll have had the meaningful vote, she has to get approval there, then she can bring in this bill, so she'll need to get that bill through the Commons and the Lords for us to leave in good order on the 29th of March. And that's, I think, why quite a lot of people are saying, is it really realistic we can get that bill, which is quite a complicated piece of legislation, through by the 29th of March?
Do you actually need that bill, though? I mean, Parliament's already voted to leave on the 29th of March.
Well, and that's the default, that without that bill passing, we're still going to leave on the 29th of March.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it wouldn't necessarily mean leaving in with no deal. It would be a deal in process.
So what ministers would have to do would be to change the date, the 29th of March date, which I think if there's a withdrawal agreement they can do with secondary legislation to give time to get the withdrawal agreement bill through. But actually the meaningful vote is only a stage. They need the withdrawal agreement bill through and they need to ratify the treaty.
OK, thank you very much indeed, Jill Rutter.